Back with another video. This Enoch 777. Hope all is well. Coming back with another live. The title of the video is going to be about turning into your higher self. That is the title of the video. That's what we're going to talk about. Hey, that's what the title of the video is going to be about. Turning into your higher self. Because a lot of you here, you may still be the lower self, right? You may not have actually turned into your higher self just yet. Or you could be your higher self watching this video, but so what is your lower self? Your lower self is the human version of you, right? That's what it actually is. That's the lower self. You as a human, right? This is what we actually came into this place with. You know, this place with our higher self, but it was locked on the inside of us and we had to basically activate it. It's always been with us. A lot of different people spend most of their lives being their lower self. But even if you are your lower self and you go through these different situations dealing with life, with you being a chosen one, you still being connected to your higher self. And it's been always that you was also, you know, trying to, spark a connection with the higher self. With a spiritual awakening. But if you are your lower self and you watching this video, right? What has been taking place is that you may not actually be the the real version of yourself. You may be a version that the Matrix created you out to be because you was on the wrong path or another whole path. So once you get on the right path, all that stuff actually changes and it switches up. Make sure y'all like the video. So yeah, you could have been a false version of yourself, not who you truly are, right? And with that being said, right, with your higher self, this is another version of yourself, right? Did you know you had another whole version of yourself that actually existed, right? So who you think you are right now, that may not even be you. That may be somebody else. Right. The thing about spirituality is that once you begin to actually have a spiritual awakening, what begins to take place is that you start to leave from the lower self. You start to get out of that state. All right. And then that false version of yourself, you know that version is left behind. It doesn't stay with you. You leave it and you step into another version of yourself. So this other version of yourself, this is like the hidden version of you, who you actually truly are. All right. But when you have a spiritual awakening and stuff of that nature, what begins to take place is that you start to, ascend. And the reason you start to ascend because you start to, do certain, like spiritual practices and stuff throughout the daily basis. You just start to ascend even when you automatically have a spiritual awakening within itself. But those things that they do help, and it goes along with ascension. But you start to ascend, right? When you have a spiritual awakening. So you'll even maybe notice some of the transformations that you might start to actually go through at that point. The different versions of yourself, because you have a lot of different versions of yourself, right? But it's all the same thing, it's all you. But you go through all of these different, transformations and stuff of that nature. And even as you're going through them, you can even, you can feel it and you can witness it with the different transformations. So you have many different versions of yourself once again. But you have ultimate version of yourself, and that ultimate version of yourself is the higher self. All right. So once you leave the third dimension and you leave from out of the lower self, and you get into, if you want to say, the 5D, what will take place is that you won't be living within, that lower form. You'll be in the higher form. All right. And then the thing about being a higher self and stuff of that nature, this is who you actually truly are. It's who you really is. All right. What was hidden from you the whole entire time you was here, until you ran across it somehow. But it was a version of yourself that you never actually, connected with or anything like that. You never knew about, because nobody never told you. But the person who you may be now, if you're not a higher self, is completely different from each other. You wouldn't even recognize it if you had your lower self on the side of your higher self. You wouldn't even be able to recognize. It'd be like two completely different people, right? And I know if you had a spiritual awakening, right, and you turned it to your higher self, you can even notice it, you know, whenever you get around other people, or when you just maybe, just doing your thing. You can notice whenever you are within the body of the higher self, even around other people when you have a spiritual awakening, right? And this is a form that, most of us is connected to, right? A lot of you out there, you have a higher self. Because let's say you are within a lower form, right? Yo, like I said, when you go through like certain type of situations dealing with life, your higher self actually it helps you. It extends its hands down into its reality, and it actually helps you in your lower form, the human body, help you get through certain type of situations, right? So it's you connect with it, in various different ways, but overall, whenever you have a spiritual awakening, what happens is that you become the higher self. And that's not the version, that, if you want to say, the Matrix created. That's a version that you created on your own. So with the lower self, it has a lot of different blockages, spiritual blockages, right? And it's a cutoff point. But when you talk about, the higher self and stuff of that nature, it doesn't have any blockages or any type of cutoff points or nothing like that. It's a limitation on the lower self, right? Meaning you can start with spiritual growth, but dealing with the higher self, it's not uh an end to, spiritually evolving, being your higher self. It never ends. And like I said before, you have many different versions of yourself, but you have a true version of yourself, and that is the higher self, right? So when you turn into your higher self, what begins to happen is that you start to go into, these different type of situations as your higher self. Because previously, like I said before you had a spiritual awakening, you go through these different things that take place, and your higher self, it can connect with you and help you out, but it's not fully yourself. It's something that's happening like part time. But when you have a spiritual awakening, you be with your higher self the whole entire time. So yeah, you may not be who you actually truly are, right? And like I said, you you came down here, you came down here, into the lower self, right? And whenever you came down here, you did come down here with a higher self. But a higher self, it was asleep. It was asleep on the inside of you, right? And you had to wake up the giant, the spiritual giant, which is your higher self. You may have came across something or what a freak ever like that, or something may happen to the point to where you just overall had a spiritual awakening. As soon as you got a spiritual awakening, you turn into the higher self, or you start to make the necessary steps towards that, right? So, but yeah, I just wanted to come back with another life. Yeah, it's a rebirth as well. Cause whenever you talk about being reborn again, right? This is connected to the higher self and the lower self. So the version that didn't die yet, which is your lower version, that's not the higher self. Your higher self is a version you turn into whenever you are reborn again. That's the higher self. So you have one side which is the older version of yourself, and then you have the other side which is the newer version of yourself, right? How do you help connect to your higher self? You help connect to your higher self through synchronicities, angel numbers, spirit animals. You connect with your higher self with watching certain type of spiritual videos. You receiving information, right? You connect with your higher self with meditation, with sleep, right? And then just ordinary stuff that we already know, like sun gazing, going out there in nature, right? That's how you connect with a higher self. That's where they get ascension from, because you're moving from one state to another. So it's just a bunch of steps, and a ladder and stuff of that nature. And you have your lower self, and then you have your higher self. So that's what's taking place. You came down here, within a certain state, a state to which you're at that you feel at, and now you gotta get back up to your higher self and who you truly are. So it's waiting on you if you're not that already. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's pretty much really all I wanted to talk about, man. But you probably been somebody else your whole life and you ain't even know it, and you wouldn't have known that it actually ever existed. And once you get to it, you experience it. It's a whole new way of being. And it's a different life, right? It's a split reality from the one that you was actually living in. It's a whole new way of things, right? A reality that you yourself that you can go to, right? hmm Hey man, make sure y'all like the video up. Make sure y'all like the video up or whatever like that. What's up? I'm about to get off. Cause I'm finished with the video. I just wanted to make a video about most of y'all been living as your lower self your whole entire life, and you ain't even notice it. You thought that's who you was, but nah, it's nah. You know, they finna get blocked. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I just want to see you grow, man. I just want to see you become you know the best version of yourself that you can be. Wow, you are here. All right, that's the whole point. So you can be the best version you can be to the maximum level. All right, because you have in life in general and stuff like that. Your higher self, you know, people don't know about that. But yeah, I'm about to get off of here, man. Hey, man. But anyways, man. Make sure y'all like the video. This Enoch 777. Peace. I'm out. Love all of you out there.